That's extremely interesting because it's pretty much the opposite of what I've seen until this moment myself. I'm from Brazil, for example. I'm Brazilian and I went to medical school in Brazil. And here in Brazil, there are many people that choose to attend medical school in Paraguay, for example, or in Argentina. I've even interviewed people who went to Russia, for example, from Brazil to Russia. And almost universally, we have a huge number of medical schools here in Brazil. Some of them are excellent, some of them are not that good, but there are plenty of medical schools of all different types. And usually people who choose to attend medical school in other nearby countries or faraway countries do so because it's cheaper. Because medical school tends to be cheaper, for example, in Paraguay than in Brazil, or in Russia than in Brazil. And your experience is pretty much the opposite. It would be the equivalent, for example, of a Brazilian going to study medical school in the United States, for example. You went to a place that's, at least theoretically, better prepared, better equipped, and yet more expensive. Your goals were pretty much inverted. How much is medical school in Turkey? Do you have a broad, I'd say a broad amount that could apply to most years?
I think about other countries, but why I choose Turkey, because Turkey and Uzbek is some kind of cultures are similar. For example, their language are similar, if you know about it. Uzbek language and Turkish language are similar. And secondly, and they are Kardesh halk. It means Kardesh, it means their friends country, Uzbek and Turkish. And thirdly, my sister married to Turkey. For this reason, my parents let me to read here. But first of all, I want to study in America, and for this reason, I learn English language to study America. But unfortunately, COVID-19 came all over the world. For this reason, I couldn't go to America and stay in Turkey.
That's interesting that you mentioned that Uzbekistan and Turkey are somewhat broader countries, friendly countries. I'm not sure exactly the term you used, but that's one of the first questions I ask people. Were there significant cultural differences? And apparently, in your case, there weren't. Were there any? Is there any significant difference between Uzbek and Turkish cultures?
To tell the truth, most it has not different from Uzbek and Turkish culture. All of them, 80% culture are the same. For example, eating habits, maybe they are Muslim and Uzbek also Muslim, and in addition, their language are similar, and how to say, and they are host people, and Uzbek also like this. 80% our culture are the same. It's not difficult for Uzbek people. It's not difficult to live in Turkey. And also, in addition, in Turkey, people, it's not difficult to live in Uzbekistan because it's the same language and other things.